could be you, it could be Dr. Spire or any other person in this space. But then secondly, also, I do not think even when they try to buy off some of these people or some of us, that will take away the problems that are happening in Uganda. Even when one voice stops talking or stops speaking up today, other voices will raise. Even when I stop talking today, another voice will come up and speak about those challenges. Even when Cynthia stops talking today, another voice will come up and speak about what she has been speaking about. But paramountly, for me as a person, when I reflect back from where I've come from, where I am today, I don't really think there's an amount of money that could be given to me and makes me betray where I've come from. Because honestly, Juliana, most of you, I cannot tell the stories of other Ugandans, but most of these people that discourage us do not know where we come from to speak up. They do not know why we've come out to speak up, even when we are alive to the threats that come with speaking up in this regime, even when we know when we are alive to the fact that it comes at the cost of our lives. Because at the end of the day, no one is going to do this for us. I'm not doing this for my own self, by the way. I might speak here as George, but I'm speaking for thousands of young Ugandans. I'm speaking for my young sister who cannot be able to go to school because of school fees. I'm speaking for my friends whose dreams and futures were shattered because of not accessing education, and they became mothers and fathers before they could even turn 18. I'm speaking for my mother and grandmother who can no longer run any business in this country simply because there is no market for them, simply because people are so poor to even afford silverfish of 500 in Masese. I'm speaking for everyone whose family and whose members in their families have been abducted in this regime, have been killed because of standing up and rising. So at the end of the day, the pain that we have at heart, trust you and I, it cannot be paid by any price. The vigor and courage we have to stand up and speak up will not be shattered by anything. And even when we lose our lives, we are fully aware that there are Ugandans that will come up and speak up after us. I do not think I'm afraid to die, because at the end of the day, I've seen people die in hospitals because of reasons that have been brought up by our leaders. But I would rather die standing for the truth and speaking the truth. And that perhaps will be an encouragement for other Ugandans to come up and speak up. Just like Dr. Muguma, Sam has been trying to tell you here. When we saw what happened in Tunisia, which sparked the 2011 Arab Spring, it started by students slowly. People thought it not cross borders. And yes, we truly pick an inspiration from the young people of Kenya. And it's with the same fire that we want to actually also stand up and speak up. And maybe this as well will influence many people out there. And also, having learned from history, the best way we can motivate many Ugandans to join this cause is not betraying the cause that we stood up to speak for today. Trust me, if I woke up one day and I've changed the voice with which I'm speaking today because I was given money, because I was compromised, or because I was threatened, this will discourage and demoralize many other Ugandans who would want to speak up. They will say, and this is not something I'm really ready to have on my name as a person. That's all I have to say for now, and I yield the mic back to you, Yuliana.
Thank you so much, George. Cynthia, how are you prepared not to be compromised in your mission to see change?
Thank you so much, Yuliana. The mere fact that I'm speaking up now against amidst all the dangers and adversity, I won't be compromised. I believe I won't be compromised. Yes, because initially, actually, when we started speaking about the protest on 23rd July, someone sent me a DM and is like, "Oh, by the way, they're going to pick you up. CMI is going to pick you up." And then I was asking them, on what grounds will they pick me up? And then they were like, Cynthia, don't pretend like you don't know the political environment that you're living in. So they can pick you up on whatever grounds they wish to. But that did not stop me from speaking up. I got so many threats, so many people telling me, "Oh my God, they're going to take you in, and when you're in, they will ask you, who are you working for? Who sponsors you?" And I was not intimidated then, and I was not threatened then. Even now, I'm still not intimidated and threatened. I will continue speaking up, and I don't think I think it will be very difficult for me to be compromised or for anyone to silence me, because I know that even if I'm risking it all, it's worth it than staying silent. If in any case anything happens when you go out to march on 23rd of July, whatever risks that are there, those are the risks that I'm prepared to face. Yes. And also logically and realistically, we've also contacted human rights lawyers, and we've assured that whoever is going to participate in the protest, their human rights will be protected. But regardless of that, you also know the environment you're dealing in. And we basically are just being courageous and brave, because we know if we don't do it, no one else will. Because all the countries that we admire, that we aspire to be like, they had to fight and sacrifice to get where they are right now. And we also have to do the same, because a good country, a corrupt-free Uganda, will not be just landed to us like manna from heaven. So everyone who's out there sitting down and is like, "Oh, maybe probably one time the government or the president, the government is going to wake up and feel mercy on us and end corruption and make sure that we all have good lives, we all have quality education, quality infrastructure, quality healthcare. It's not going to happen. If we want to see a better Uganda, we have to stand up and we have to fight for that, even if it means risking everything. That's it. That's all.
Thank you so much. Sam, before I bring in George and Cynthia to conclude the space, do you have something to say, to add to what they've said? Sam, you're muted. Sam, you're still muted, if you can hear me. Sam? Oh, okay. Okay. So what I wanted to ask you, George and Cynthia, is let's imagine, and I am 100% sure whether it's sooner or later, you will be successful in what you're trying to do. When that happens, paint a picture for me of how you see an end to this corruption. Paint a picture of Uganda that you wish to see coming, after the end of this system as it is. What would you like to see? George, I'll go with you, George.
Yes, thank you so much. So, like we've been emphasizing in all our spaces and conversations, that first of all, in pursuit to fighting corruption, there is a glaring reality in Uganda that power has been taken away from the people. That's why today we cannot even hold our leaders accountable. That's why today, even when we stand up to speak, they take us for joker. The only time our leaders take us serious is when we're having elections, and that has to stop. And we've been telling people that more reasons as to why we need to stand up and march to parliament in a bid to stopping corruption. It is also going to help us in one way, that we're going to gain back the power that we deserve as citizens, the power that can give us the platform to hold our leaders accountable, the power that give us the power that can put us in a position where we can demand things from our government and they're put into implementation, the power that we can have as a people, that we have a government that listens to its citizens. And ultimately, when we achieve the goal of fighting corruption, which we do believe that it's a systemic problem and we cannot achieve it overnight, we shall progressively achieve it by taking the different steps that are available, just like the march to parliament, through which we are going to call for the immediate resignation of the Speaker of Parliament, who has sanctioned this impunity in the 11th Parliament, to the extent that we even have members of Parliament go out publicly to glorify corruption among its before constituents and voters and their voters and Ugandan citizens. So personally, as an individual, I envision a Uganda that is corrupt-free, where we have systems that allow leaders to be held accountable, where we have laws that hold those that are corrupt accountable. We've had numerous corruption scandals in Uganda here today, and it's even disheartening that some of these perpetuators are still in government serving it. We have one of the most grotesque and horrendous corruption scandal that happened during the Gavi Fund, and among these perpetuators, one of them is the minister today, and the other is the vice chairman of NRM. And these are things that dishearten us in Uganda, that people we've seen plunder our resources, people that we've seen that steal from our own citizens, are the very persons that are rewarded to go and serve us as Ugandans. This has to come to an end. The people that, like today, our speaker, we've been calling her out severally, and she goes ahead to call us spam shafters. What kind of nonsense is this? We are the people that vote these people into power, and they do not give us that respect. Me as a person as well envision a Uganda where public resources are used well and prioritized with the priorities of Ugandans, where we can afford healthcare systems by all Ugandans, where we have an education system that allows all Ugandans to access quality education, where we have an infrastructure that allows us to flourish in businesses, where government tenders are offered to all Ugandans that are possible to bid for them. But we live in a country that where the leaders themselves are the ones that bid for these tenders and enrich themselves. They've primitively enriched themselves to the extent that it's them that have the media houses in Uganda. It's them that have the biggest of hotels in Uganda. It's them that have the biggest of factories in Uganda. They literally decide everything for us as a people, and we need that to come to an end. Back to you, Yuliana.
Thank you. I think that's been made very clearly. Thank you so much. Before I bring in Cynthia, to SCJ, do you have something to add before we conclude the space? Twisty J, you're muted. Would you like to unmute and come in? You need to press on the mic if you would like to speak and unmute yourself. Twisty J? Hello?
Yes, you are.
Yes, go ahead. Cynthia, can you hear him? Yes, you are audible. Would you like to go ahead? Tracy J, would you like to speak? He's having connection problems.
Yeah.
Cynthia, paint a picture for me. Post imagine that everything goes to plan on the 23rd or beyond. What paint a picture for me?
Thank you so much, Juliana. So if everything goes to plan according to 23rd, because most of the demands, the top three demands, I see Twist is online. Would you like me to proceed, or would you want him to speak before he loses connection again?
Okay, Twisted J, are you able to hear me? Can you unmute and come in because you're having connection problems?
Yes, I am. Am I audible?
Okay. Yes, you are. Thanks, Cynthia. I'll come back to you to close the space. Twisted J, please go ahead and speak.
Right. I apologize really for my connection trouble, but I think
That's
it's not
fine.
stable.
Please go ahead. Not a problem. Please go ahead. It happens.
I've been following this march to Parliament for, I think, 3 weeks now. And I'm very, very glad and full of so much optimism that it's gone so far around the country and around the world for our people who are in the diaspora and who are helping to amplify this. We have very big name people coming into new spaces, and it's at least making sure that Ugandans all across the world and all across our great country know that we must change the status quo. Now, I just wanted to try and talk about, in conclusion, also like the question you had asked about the Uganda, I'd also want to say one of the main reasons why I came here and why I decided to at least add my voice to this, irrespective of my family being against this, having that attitude of just pray for the country, just be quiet, don't make yourself too loud. I have an uncle who is a major in the army as well, so it's something that really pressed on my heart. And I made sure that I really, really had to at least add my voice to this because our country cannot keep falling away. Now, it is incredibly beneath us for us to have leaders who have the brass neck to speak in front of electorate and say that it is okay if they steal as long as they share. It is completely out of order if we have people stealing resources in parliament and all these things keep happening like we've been seeing all across it. There's so many, too many to mention. We cannot keep silent. We cannot keep quiet. We cannot keep numb, just allowing all these things to happen. The last 20 years has been definitely in my life. I'm only 22. I've been growing up. But in the last 20 years, I've seen people come up, people go down. The FDC came up, NUP came up. They get a few following here and there. But Ugandans in the country are just bought off at election time with soap or a few monies here and there. And then the same problems continue to persist in our country. So I want to say this, and I want to say this to anybody in government who might be listening. I want to say this to anybody from Kabale, where I'm from, who might be listening. I want to say this to any Ugandan. We are the laughing stock of the world. Everybody is looking at us awfully. We have shame that we don't even realize we hold. Everybody looks at Uganda and nobody thinks of anything great about our country. The only greatness we associate with ourselves is just some few words that a white man mentioned about us when he came as a pretext to being a colonizer. The only wonderful things we have about our country are what white people have said about us. Our actions do not show that we are a great country, neither do what we produce. We are rich, but the growth that this government is giving us is extremely slow. They are completely complacent. They are sleeping on the job, and they're allowing this disease that is corruption to permeate through our society. It is really, really rotten all across levels of government. I remember every time I'm going to Interpol and they tell me I have to pay some money if I want to get my documents on time. What nonsense is that? Not just even that. If you want to go get a permit somewhere, you just bypass all the legal paths and get it quickly by paying something here and there. If you want to get out of a ticket in traffic, you have to pay something. And then when they charge us a lot of money, what happens in our taxes when they increase them? The taxes go into the coffers of government as opposed to build our country. They're given to one company. Our country is falling apart. We cannot continue to allow it to keep failing. It's failing each and every one of its people. It's failing all of us. Now, I am going to be there on the 23rd of July. Come what may. I am going to be there saying that I will no longer allow these people to think that the power of the nation, the power of the state belongs to them. It belongs to each and every one of us, the electorate, each and every one of us, the citizenry. The power of this country belongs to us and not them. And if they keep going down this route of being completely agnostic to what we want, of completely ignoring every single demand that the populace have, they will be taken out of power. Whether they like it or not, 2026 will be the end of their government. And it's not anything about violence. We love our country. We do not want to see what happened in Sudan happen in Uganda. We don't want to see what's happened in the Middle East with Iran and Iraq be our fate. We have a country that we love, a country that has a lot of potential. They have shown us. They keep telling us we have oil. We have iron in Kabare, where I'm from. We have a lot of potential around it. We recently said that we have gold in northern Uganda. We have a lot of potential for our country. We can be a breadbasket like Zimbabwe was. We don't have to keep importing wheat from Ukraine. We can grow our own. We can create a wonderful, wonderful economy where we have amazing transport, not just the shameful little train tracks that we have going around Kampala and Namubiru, for goodness sake. We can create something wonderful or even better than Kenya's SGR and Tanzania. If we stop stealing money, as Ugandans, and we start by making sure we remove all these leakages we have from the coffers of our state. We remove them by telling this woman, who is the prime example of the rot of a government that does not work for its people. We tell her she must resign whether she likes it or not. 40 million shillings per MP. Cynthia has done a wonderful video about this. 40 million shillings per MP is way too much money, honestly. And in all that, we are losing so much that could go towards better things. We have so much debt. Instead of it being paid off, the money that is taken as loans, supposed to be working for other people, is being stolen by individuals at Investment Authority. We had Evelyn and Nita talking about that. Our country must work. I have spent my whole life growing up. I will not allow my children, when they come, to find a country that does not work for them. Now, let me be clear. I am young, but Uganda is mine as much as it is yours who are in government. And I will make sure that it never, ever fails anyone again. You go around the country, people do not have wonderful education. Healthcare is not the best in the world. Why? It's not even anywhere near the average, or even in the region. Our healthcare is among the worst, worse than some parts of Rwanda, and worse than even Kenya. Imagine a country like ours, with a promise that we had in the 60s when we got independence. We really, really must fight to make sure our country works. And we will do it by taking our power back, taking it back and telling them that if they don't do for our country as they should, they will be out of power permanently. And if they continue to permeate this disease, shaming our country around the world, where everybody thinks of Uganda and they think of corruption, rot, and a complete lack of morals in financial literacy and financial discipline, where they think that we cannot manage things, where they think that when in Uganda is where democracy goes to die, as I hear the Kenyans talking about us. We must fix our country, and fixing our country starts with each and every one of us saying that no, 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 we will not allow this government to continue to be complacent, sleeping, dozing off as our country rots away. Thank you.
Right. I think that is thank you so much for that. A lot of people have been criticizing Ugandan Gen Zs or Gen X for doing nothing, not having a voice. Thank you so much, you three, for showing them that, in fact, Ugandans, we have eloquent, intelligent, smart, willing, ready young people. If we have the voices that we've had on this space as representation of Gen Z or millennials in Uganda, Uganda is in good hands. It's just a systemic change that we need. But thank you so much to Mwesije, George, and Cynthia for the stuff that you have shared and the stories you've told on this space. Because I think, for one, I am so hopeful after listening to you three speak, because, and again, I will do whatever is in my power to make sure that your dreams are realized in the best way I can, because they're so valid. And I think you get it. You get exactly, you've joined the dots that, so perhaps my generation has been too intimidated to join and to bring together. So for me, you are these beautiful voices out there that need to be amplified 1,000-fold. So thank you to you three. Now, what I will ask, before Cynthia comes in, you will be our last voice, is one of the things that happens on Twitter Spaces is that sometimes you speak to a very particular elite that speaks in English or Luganda, which is the lingua franca of Uganda. But I think it's so important that the messages that you young people have permeate the different regions in Uganda, which is clearly illustrated by the fact that none of you, I don't think, come from the same region or speak the same language. I absolutely love the fact that one of your slogans is that this movement is tribalist. It's about Ugandans and what affects us all as a people. So what I'm going to ask is for you to summarize your message in your language for those people who will listen to this space afterwards. And when everybody's done that, if that's okay with you, Cynthia will come in and then we'll close the space unless Sam can hear me and is willing to come in or ready to come in. George, would you like to repeat your message in Lusoga or any other language that you wish?
I think I will absolutely use Lusoga because that's where I grew up from and I relate more with my people of Lusoga and Jinja in particular. Bana abasoga mwena abali kuno nife nendo kubebaza okutwegaita ku igulu lya leero kubona nga tukuba ebiduubo ku bintu ebiri kujanga bimene ensi yaife okusingira ekizibu ky'obuli bw'ensimbi babayi b'omusolo. Mirundi mingi tujje tubona abakulembeze baife nga babulankanya ensimbi okwegegawaza bo ng'abantu ife batwekeera ng'eiwanga. Saawa eno wetwogerera amalwaliro gazira madagala muzira mu basawo amasomero gaafa era n'emirimu gizaawo mu ife abavubuka abasomye nga tumaze ne university. So nendo okuba omulanga ng'ambeeta mwena guno omwezi nga 23 July mutwe gwaiteko nga tambula okujja ku parliament okusokera era nga tusaba speaker Anita Mongo okulekerera wa speaker n'okusingira era nga tugezaako okweta abakulembeze okutuuliza ife ng'abantu tuyiza amaanyi eri ife ng'abantu so that nti nimayise eyo abakulembeze abalida balimana nti amaanyi gali mu bantu tukola iwanga eryegombesa era mwena mwewerere ku nti ebintu byonna bisoga byali yesimizaamu baabiyita ebikaado babimala mu ssente abasoga ati mukasi na kulima bikaado mwali mutolanga kasente okunusa abaana enanda gye mwali muvubiranga nga mugema kumukene mwagema kuba enanda mulisa abaana mubasuuze n'abaana school fees yona bagobaku nzira kyakwesimisa amakolero ge twali twegombesebwanga ebiseera ebyo nga tuta industrial city in East Africa gona gaafa gasigalizibwa mu bantu baba kuliya basasula esente empi zisaba kuva munamere mu bantu so nendo kubegeera basoga banange twegaite kwirobozi ly'ewanga n'abantu bonna bali mu Uganda okubona nga tulwanisa obuli bw'enguzi tubokomye so that tufune ensi gye twegombesa ffenna ng'abantu mendeza olunaku olulungi and I think those will be my last remarks and wishing success to those that are going to watch Euro and those that are supporting England. Hope we can win tonight as we look forward to 23rd of July. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, George. That was perfectly put. Thank you. Tumwesije?
Webere mnonga ndaza kugezaho kugamba mu ruciga amazina ganje ndi Twesije Kashijara ndio wa Kabare ndenda kwija kubagambira abaciga banje mbihanga ryitu ririmo gushishikara government ejiro mu mwaka 1986 bakora ibintu binji mazima Joseph Kony bakamuyaho batuhereza ubusinjo mu jeji hanga konka kangamba mazima wareba government yitu yona umukorwa yayo ejwera abashuma binji bari mu government bari mu Uganda Investment Authority abashuma bari mu Bank of Uganda bari mu za permanent secretaries ba ministry aba bantu bona bariyo ni batwiba esente no shashuru mzavat wano gore bintu nke sabuni yo koza konkezo sente nizanka bazo mu parliament ni ba companies ba roko abantu ba roko esente zona ni tuyo so wale bihangari abarimo kugenda hansi ukagenda kabare ukagenda ntungamo ukagenda kanungu amarwariro gona gariyo nigashishikara emishomero yona abana bawe tibine eki barukwerwa mashomero ago ihanga ryanje ihanga ryawe twine kurikwata tukaritejekaje tukagambira abanita amongo abantu aba MP abakwija buri myaka 5 barutijuma omukutereza ibintu nka sabuni batarukutereza sente zo tereka za constituency zitu twine kubagambira aha 23 ya July ngo itwe nk'abanya-Uganda nyowe nk'omukiga tari hecindeza kuba ninyikiriza kugira ngo ihanga ryanje ririmu kushekerwa omuseji ahari eco tendenda kureba ng'ihanga ryanje iriyo nirigenda mpora tubiremeye twurire ogumushinja kugira ngo steady progress barukwija kabare hona barukugira ngo katubireke at least twakore urguto mu high street embarara at least twakoreze ingutu waza ntungamo engutu yego bazikora konkiwe warebo mu barimani yawe resente zoine nizinkaye nyowe nkatwisije tindi kwenda kureba ihanga ryanje ritarukorora buri muntu wene ihanga ryitu twine kurikwata tukabagambira ngo baremwa kuko rebi abantu nibenda turaza kubihamo bine kureba ihangeji ngo amani gayo gariyo mu mikono g'abantu tegari mu amani geji hanga tegari mu mahe tegari mu mikono za Muhozi ninga mu mikono ya ba Museveni amani geji hanga gona gariyo mu mikono g'abantu abantu ba Kabare abantu ba Moroto ba Mayige na ba Uganda bona ahari eco twena abanya-Uganda abari kukunde agency turaza kukwata umuhanda tukaza muri Kampala tukagambira aba MPs aba bona ngo ihanga ryitu neryitu n'amani ga parliament na gitu tibaraza kugaruka kutugambira bishuba kureba Anita Among no gumukaze kinyamatama bari kuzaho urwengo bari kutugambira ngo at least bagabira abantu ekitinsa cha parliament kirimo kugenda aba bantu bariyo nibacecerera omunza ba Kenya kuba rukureba kubaho omu-Uganda nibacecerera munonga garahanga twine ibintu byinji mu itaka twine ubwiga bwinji twine amajuta hoima twine obutare kabare konka esente zizona kuzirija ziraza kuzankaye tiriz noza kureba zona baraza kuzitwara tiziraza kuzo mu mashomero ningo mu marwariro embazi yona baraza kubani bazireka bakwegurira amamodoka n'amajomu za kororo zine za SC niwe na kucigamba bati 23rd ya July 23 yo kwezi kwa July turaza kuza parliament tuturi kwita umuntu ntukunde agency Uganda neyitu niyo twine kusha nchigambire tuturi kwenda kubanka ba Sudani tuturi kwenda kubanka ba Iran agency yitu ene kubana neguma ino businje so twaza kwata umuhanda tukatambura tuturi kukwata amabare ningemiti tuturi kwenda kutera umuntu ogubera konka twine kubagambira niraka ryicu ngo agency teyabo kusha agency n'abanya-Uganda itwe twena aza twine kuchikwata je tukachitejeka ngo buri muntu wena mu agency kwa tureba baratureba bakagira ngo wow abanya-Uganda kandi bakora abanya-Uganda kandi bakwatira ubwiga babo bona buri mu itaka bakarikoza je abana babo bakakura umuyihangarira basa gukuraje nyowe nkanye ko mciga wakabara tinaza kugumza mu kureba ihangeje itari gukorera buri muntu wena tinaza kugumza mu kureba ihanga abakazi bitu ninga bazire bitu ba mama bitu bari mu kuzo mu irwariro bari kufa bari ni bazara ne nkushaba inkomi ya Uganda inkomi ciga ne nkushaba ngo ihangeji orukwata mu mutima gwawe orukwatije okwate emikono yawe ogende okorere buri mu kintu kyona ky'oreza kukora gikorere Uganda ahari 23 ya July oije nitwe tugende omu Kampala tuze aha Parliament tubagambire ngaha amaani g'agency ya Uganda nagi gona agamani ago nagitu ati tibaraza kugumizamo bari mu za Parliament bari kweshongashonga baraza kukwata ekyo kitensa cyo kuba MP baraza kutureba bakimanye omu mutwe gwabo ngo nitwe abine ago maani ogo kubata omu Parliament.
So bad that we're having connection problems or to my CJ. Thank you so much. Feel free to come and complete your submission. I'll be on hand to allow you to finish that, but thank you so much. So that was Luchiga, Cynthia, whilst we perhaps to my CJ fixes his connection, would you like to come in, please, and make your submission? Cynthia.
Okay. A message in my local language, Uganda?
Of course. Please go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Bannayuganda bannange mwenna gye muli n'oba nga tuli Muganda naye nga otegeera Oluganda, twagala tubayite mutwegatteko nga 23 guno omwezi mu kukumba okw'emirembe nga tukumbira obuli bw'enguzi obutwala eggwanga lyaffe mu Paalamenti y'e Uganda. Twagala okukumba nga tusaba Speaker of Parliament alikulire ne ba Member of Parliament emisala gyabwe gikendeezebwe kubanga kati bafuna emisala gy'amaanyi nnyo ate nga ne be bakola tebitutwala mu maaso. Twagala Parliament yaffe obuli bw'enguzi bugiveemu bugiggwemu. Tetusobola kutuula ne tuleka abo be twalonda okutukiikirira nga bwe badda mu Parliament boogera byabwe nga basala ddiiru nga beewa ssente nga tebafuddeyo omubi w'omusolo. Era ku olwo olunaku twagala ffenna mujje mwonna gye muva, oba ng'osobola okutuuka mu Kampala oba tosobodde okutuuka mu Kampala, genda mu kyalo kyo ewa obw'omukiikirira wammwe wa Parliament, mugende mu maka ge, mugende eyo mutwalire ebintu byaffe betusaba Anita alekulidde ate nabo emisaala gyabwe gikendeezebwe. Tuteekeddwa okweyimukamu twerwane kubanga enguzi egenda kutumalawo. Tuba tetwerwanyeeko twali agenda kujja kutulwanirira mu okufuna Uganda ennungi nga temuli nguzi. Ffe bennyini bannansi b'e Uganda, eno ensi yaffe tewali nsi yonna ndala gye tugenda kufuna okuggyako eno. Era mbasaba mwenna obanga ontegeera banga kuno okutambula kwa mirembe tekuliko lulimi oba oyogera lulimi ki. Olulimi lwonna lw'oyogera oba tuteekeddwa okwegatta ku guno omulundi mukisa gwe tufunye okufenna okwegatta awamu okulaba nti tutereeza eggwanga lyaffe, tutereeza Paalamenti yaffe nga tugitereeza kubanga abagirimu kati bo ebyaffe si be baliko, bali mu byabwe bibasanyusa. So tubayita ku 23 tumwegatteko. Tosigala waka, jangu otwegatteko kwolwo olunaku. Yuliana, that's my submission. Thank you.
Thank you so much. To my CJ, would you like to complete your submission? We lost you, your connection went off, and then Mugisha, you'll have the last word, and then we'll close. To my CJ?
Yes, thank you very much. My phone had lost its battery.
That's fine. Please go ahead. That's okay. Go ahead.
Aharibe bintu byona nyewe nkinye tariho omuntu weena wundi kugambira ejeji match yitu teinemu bwa tribe kugira ngo ryo Muganda ninga oryo Mutoro ninga oryo Munyankore twena nk'Abanyayuganda twine kwija tukabagambira ngo ihanga ryitu neryitu ahari yacu nyewe indyo ninyegambira wano yenda kwija oyije wano okundi ihanga ryitu oyije wano okunda kureba ngo abana bitu tibareza kureba ngo future yabo niyo busasi oyije waninda kureba ngo abana binemshumu era bakorera ngo babasa kuzumu za university nibaza kuzumu za primary school bakakoreje bakakwata imirimo bakatunga sente bakabaho abantu bo mu gasho muri society yitu mwena mwije bo kubatune kubagambira ngo esente zitu kushashuro za URA umubareke kuzishisha bari kuzabantu abatakozire ibintu byo mu gasho ngo bareke kunama umuntu nkampo gariyo na ibe sente zihangeje na ba commissioners ba parliament ngo bareke kunama bari kureba abana bawe bariyo ni babatwara za protest ninga bariyo ni batwara mu mahome atari kibakore ecir kushanka terrorism aharebe bintu nimba shaba ngo kwatera byihangari yawe ngo kwate ihangari yawe iwe nko muntu orikwate oritegeke okore imirimo yawe buri mu kintu cyo neco razakora ucukorera Uganda no mutima gumwe mukija tukaza Kampala tukakwata umuhanda tukaba bagambira ngo ihangeje ne yitu ya ba parliament ninga ba MPs abakweshashura miliyoni na buri mwaka buri kwezi bari kutushishira sente ihangeje ne yitu buri mu kintu cyo neco nagamba nacigambira rohanga ni hangari yanje banyita kashijera mwebere kompurikiza
Bye bye. Tumwesije Mugisha, would you like to come in, please? And then we'll close. We'll let our audience go. Mugisha?
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Tumwesije.
Okay,
Please go ahead.
Am I even loud and clear?
Yes, you are. Please go ahead.
Yeah, first of all, I'll thank you, our sister Yuliana, for the opportunity and always bringing us here. I want to thank our mother, Stella Nyanzi, because everywhere I go, I see her. She's with us because of this issue. Twesije, Cynthia, Mugumia, Webare Mnonga, Teka Mamani, Jimmy Spire. This is all because of you. When you showed us the way by your comics and the parliamentary exhibition, Agola, it's really that you made the first spark, and this spark is catching wildfire. So you did a great job for your country, and we are just putting us on to that. I think I won't speak again in Lunyankole because my brother Tracy J has finished to speak in Lunyankole. I will use a global language. I believe it would be Luganda and some English if I'm accepted to do that. Today I've been on various platforms. I've been on the TikTok, I've been on Facebook, and I've been everywhere. And the conversation is wide. When I see a lot of people have picked up, you see people from the government have started speaking in tongues. The deputy speaker is speaking in tongues. You saw this guy, who was the Minister of Constitutional Affairs.
Otafire.
Speaking some words that I would say are good words. However much on certain extent I may not agree or concur with her with him on certain extent of some words. But that shows that tubalina ntera okugamba nti tubanyize obulima watubunyize tubalina nti ensigo baziwulira mu biwoowoolo. So it means wetukutte tetuta. We should just increase the energy. We should just increase to squeeze them so that we can get the joys out of them. All of you know how this government works and how Mr. Museveni works. So we should just increase. Some people are asking, why are we not going on the grand thief? Why are we on the Speaker of Parliament? It's because that is the house of the people and our voices are within that house. Some people, they undermine the power of the parliament. The parliament can question the executive. The parliament has a lot of powers in the country whereby if the parliament stands its ground, we can see theft and rule of law back to our country. But the parliament has become a rubber stamp for Mr. President, the president of Uganda and other people, or Mr. Museveni. So us focusing on the parliament, it means that we know tumanye ekizimba we kiri era we tutandikidde. And you weren't there. We were on a space with musicians and comedians. We had Maulan and Rain, we had Taf B, we had Twengere, and we had a lot of musicians. And they were like, we are with you, and we are moving with you, and we are coming with you. This shows that this is a citizenly call. And you can see we have friends from Mankole, we have from Uganda, we have from the north, we have from everywhere. So this is a citizenry call, and it has never happened on the land of Uganda. So by this, if we are in this century, if we have opened our mindset and our hearts that we are going to do this, it means that we are doing the right thing, and we are doing something that we should have done long time ago. And one of the issues that I want to put on the space right now, I see we have mothers here. Yes, I'm a boy, or I'm a man, or I'm a youth, but I know a lot of my friends who are single fathers, and they have their children who are girls who don't have pads. And the girl just goes to the neighbor, n'agamba neighbor, sirina paadi, atya okwogera ne taata we. But nga mwana ono ate asomera ku ssomero yandibadde alinayo school counselor, nga bw'abuulira ensonga zino school counselor ate n'abeera ng'azibuulira kitaawe. But the education system it is fake, whereby school counselor ajja lumu mu mwaka oba n'ajja lumu mu mwezi, bw'aba abayambye nnyo lumu mu wiiki. So ne kireetera abaana baffe ab'obwalo okubanga balivinga in uncertainty mu mbeera gye basomeramu, ne tufuna high pregnancies in schools and dropouts and whatever, ne bakwasa abazadde nga te bagamba omwana abeera wa gavumenti. More so ngenda kwogera ku kya hygiene, the pads, girls in schools, toilets zo mu masomero ate siko bandibadde bateekayo pads nga zibeere oba 10 oba mmeka, ziba tebazitadde mu toilets, bandibadde balina gundi eno we baziteeka nti omwana aba alina emergency at school asobola okufuna pad at a free cost. Nga boy basobola okutuula mu parliament ne bakola budget ne bateekamu condoms. These people batula mu budget ne bagamba ba commissioner abo abasirusiru bamanyi okutuula ne bayisa budget nga mu toilet za parliament mulina obba mu condom. Abaali bagenze mu parliament mukimanyi nti mu toilet zaabwe gye ziri nga naye omwana w'essomero talina pad. So kitegeeza bano abasajja beerowoozaako, they think that they are high there. So it's our mandate as citizens of Uganda, young and old, educated and non-educated, employed and unemployed, engineer, doctor, yaya, kadama, any person with your own kind of system, the way you work and everything, it is your call to come and fight about this. Someone was saying abali mu Bulaya, abali e Bulaya tebalina kwogera ku nsonga zino. I wanted to tell you that ati abali e Bulaya mu budget y'eggwanga tebbo batakisingibwa directly. Munansi ali wansi mu ggwanga bamutakisinga indirectly, naye munansi ali e Bulaya, ali e Saudi Arabia, ali e Germany, ali e UK, bamutakisinga directly indirectly, whereby waliwo kye bayita remittances. Every time they send money babajjako sente, ate ne sente gye bazisindise bwe bagenda okugula ebikozesebwa, they again tax the same money. So abantu abali e Bulaaya nabo bali enguze ne banyiga nabo bwabwe olw'ensonga sente ze bakolerera bazizaka. Teri muntu ali e Bulaaya nga tirisiko taweerezangako yadde 10 waka, oba wa mukadde we, oba wa mukwano gwe, oba wa kintu kyonna. So this is a call for every Ugandan citizens, because the constitution, when it detects very well who is a citizen of Uganda. When you're born in Uganda, even if you're out of Uganda for 50 years, you remain a citizen of Uganda so long as you're born in Uganda and you have your birth certificate with you, or even if you don't have that birth certificate, so long as you have your roots in Uganda. So it means this is a citizenry call. People from all walks of life, people from all different tribes, people from different speak. It's our time to fight for our freedom. People are outside of Uganda not because they want. Some are political refugees and asylum out there. People don't know how it hurts them. Ngabali e Bulaaya eyo, buli omu alowooza bw'obeera e Bulaaya obeera bulungi. Buli omu ayagala abeereko ewaka ng'alaba ku bantu be. But because of this corruption, oli bw'agyogerako n'atontoma nga musomesa waffe professor bwe yagitontomako nga bagamba nti akoze bubi, nga bamuwaŋŋangusa olw'ekkalaamu ye. Owulidde? Bw'oli bw'agiyimbako nga naye bamuddusa. Oli bw'akola bw'ati nga kibeera kiti. Mukama waffe era musomesa waffe Xspace wagikuba mu katuuni nti abali b'ebisiike be bamuvujjirira omufimbi. Bwe bamuyita anyweko ka cocktail nti wuuyo ate ali mu kunywa n'abamuvujjirira abamusasula omusaala. So tuli mu kulwanyisa abasajja abakyalowooleza mu legiko. Our parliament erimu abasajja nga ba Moses Ali abaaliwo mu legiko eri legislative assembly. They don't think with the mindset of the 5th generation or the 6th generation. When you speak, you're tortured. abatya ne bagamba nti no bagenda tusiba bagenda tutta. Bamaama baffe bameka abafiira ku mbalaza nabo baba boogedde ku nguzi, abafiira ku biveera nga bali mu kuzaala, abafiira mu ssanya, abafiira ku mamotoka nti no yakubye ekinnya. Owulidde abaana bali mu makomera bakibalama abaasibwa, bonna abo tugambe nti okitegeera, bangi basibiddwa, bangi battiddwa, bangi bakoleddwa ki, naye nga tebalina kyamakulu nnyo kye bakoze. Naye bw'ovaayo n'oyogera nti oyogedde. Nze lumu nali mpita ku street, gwe woba oli wano ngugamba oli muvubuka weeyagala olw'okuba olina ka girlfriend osula mu flats oba ekitegeero olinamu kavitiizi ko kwovuga, sooka otunule maama wo yakubeezaawo atya, oba si ekyo funayo obudde olw'eggulo ogambe akampiteko ennakasero kuba ku zi street ndabe engeri ekibuga gye kitambulamu, emmotoka esooka ogiza ebbali, ojja kusanga abakesisi ng'akuba omukazi ow'emyaka 5 empi akutte obutunda bwa bukasuse mu kabangali. Nze nali mpita ennakasero omukazi nga mukadde ng'akaabirira omusirikale wa KCC amugamba omanyi omwana wange yafiira mu ddwaliro tetwalemwa okusasula ebisale ne batatuwa ddagala, abazzukulu nze abalabirira bagenda kuddayo ku ssomero, obutunda bwange nabwo obututte ate nange ontaddeko empingo. Munnansi wa Uganda weewo waatuuse kwe kubonaabona kwaliko, naye nga Pineti bw'ajja bamukwatira omutitimbi gw'essente oguli mu musologo ne bamuwa, loko ne bamuwa, munnansi ne bamugoba ku ttaka ne balekawo Starbucks. Oba okitegeera, double standards. Mu Uganda tutuuse embeera nti abali e Bulaaya okimanyi abaliyo balwana kufuna butuuze bw'e Bulaaya, nti nze nafuna obutuuze ng'oyo agamba endi bulungi. Abali e Dubai mukimanyi bulungi, we bakuyita omuloko oba mugagga bagamba leero ofuusa alubaabu, leero oli muloko. Naye Uganda bw'ofunamu akasente tukutuuma investor, tukutuuma muzungu, nafunye omuzungu. Okitegeera, kikulaga nti munnansi ali ku level esembayo okuba wansi awasembera ddala. Kino kye tugenda okukola nga 23 kulaga bantu nti kisoboka. Awo we tujja okuva tukole demands zaffe ez'enjawulo nti kati twagala ministries zikendeere, tetukyayagala baminisita babeere nga balondebwa nga bagibwa mu parliament. Ennaku zino mpulira mu nvuuvu mubaagala parliament yebeeronda president. Ekitegeeza tufunye omukisa ekyo kirwana nga bukyali yadde tebannakireeta, mukimanyi basooka bireetera mu ŋŋambo ate ne babiisa mu parliament. So tufunye omukisa ebyo byonna okulaba nti tulwana tweddiza obuyinza bwaffe, parliament edde mu mikono gyaffe. Parliament erina amaanyi mangi. Oba tokimanyi parliament esobola okusensalinga speaker oba omuntu yenna, parliament esobola okukuliramu okujja obwesigwa mu kulembeze w'eggwanga n'ebintu ebifaanana bwe bityo. So bwe twezza amaanyi gaffe tusobola okudda mu maaso ne tuba nga tukyusa eggwanga lyaffe ate ne tubeera nga tubeera abantu abeeyagalira mu ggwanga lyaffe. Mwannyinaze, muganda wange, ssenga wange, taata wange, kojja wange, jjajja wange, zuukuka, Uganda ekukoowoola. Zuukuka, Uganda ekukoowoola. Owulira bawoza simanya M23 ate simanya nga Uganda bali mu Uganda, simanya gavumenti ya Uganda yebafandinga ate ogenda okuwulira speaker aliko sanctions. Kwega tuli awo tetumanyi nsi gyeraga, tutengejja butengejja. Ku lwa Katonda n'ensi yange ndowooza kankomaawo ate omuntu omulala ajja abeere nga atwongerayo neeyanziza nnyo. Yuliana, tubeere nga tusindika nga tugenda mu maaso. Mpoziko mbadde neerabidde, mbadde ku TikTok ng'aliwo abagamba waliwo abatufandinga nga bamu bagamba nti eno movement Museveni yagiri mu givujjirira. Njagala obbategeeza nti nno ne Museveni waali ne speaker waali gamubuguma. Abamu nga bagamba nti nno simanyanga tulayika tukolera gundi ono deputy speaker twagala atwala obwa speaker, naye kennyini naye gamubuguma. Kuba twogera ku parliament, we are not focusing on a person, we are focusing kwaba bali b'enguzi. Nga professor bwe yabagambye doctor nga tuli mu space eri eyayise, we are not tetuli mu kwekalakaasa kuno kwa bulijjo. Tujja kukumba, tujja kutambula, tuli mu kutambula mu mirembe. Abayina ekidansolo mugenda kireeta tukubemu awo omuziki, omusirikale bwakutawanya sooka omukubemu bendova bw'oba muwala omulage nti oli wa mirembe, muwe ku mazzi anyweko, muwe katunda. Essimu zaffe zirina okubeera nga kweziri ku lunaku olwo ffenna tubeere live. That is our number one security. Anita must resign. The country should be put back to order. Forget my country. Back to you, my sister Yuliana.
I don't think I'm going to add much more on what has already been said. Sam, are you there and can you unmute? Did you have something to say before we close? Sam? Okay. Sam seems to have had a glitch, but I think he'll probably concur with what has been said by the young people who've attended this space. I want to say thank you. Instead of being intimidated or scared off, I think people will listen to this now and later and be filled with hope about the young people of Uganda. You have so much potential. You can do so much. Cynthia, women like you make me so proud. To Mwesije, you spoke with so much eloquence. George, Ngisha, there's so many more that I haven't been part of this space, but who are doing a tremendous job in moving this forward. Somebody asked in the comment section, when is this? It's the 23rd of July. 23rd of July. If you look around my wall, if you look around Twitter, Facebook, you will find when the march is actually going to be, which is the 23rd of July this month. So please be prepared. We will be behind you. We will continue this until the system changes, until we get what we're looking for. And I think what's important to tell people is the 23rd is only the beginning of perhaps a very long journey, but a journey that will see young people who are as determined as you are triumph. It will probably be expensive, might come in terms of lives or people maimed, but I think we have to be resolute. We are behind you. My generation and so many people like me are rooting for you, and we will actively, through all manner of avenues, be supporting you. I think we will be in touch. I'll be in touch with various people that I've already been talking to, I think, for the last month. Again, do not be intimidated. The idea of them telling you that you are being paid is actually a tactic that is used to divide and to create suspicion amongst you. So you think this person, I think the colloquial term is you ate. So this person is eaten, that person is eaten. No, I think what you have shown from all the different regions of Uganda that you come from, you have shown that young people are speaking with one voice. Of course, there'll be people who will be bribed or who will be, but soldier in a battle, some soldiers will fall down and tumble and maybe get bribed. But at the end of the day, you keep marching on until you reach your goal. So do not be derailed by all sorts of talk from various angles, trying to confuse you, to divide you. I have been doing this for almost 20 years, and no, Museveni cannot afford everybody. They have no money. No, some of us do not have a price. We do. There's nothing they can do, but they will say that to you to intimidate you, to make you believe that you're going to be betrayed. I, for one, and people like Sam Mugumya, who usually has these spaces with me, are very, very clear. We will not be compromised. And the reason, and as George and Cynthia said, these problems of corruption affect them personally. So this is a personal fight. And I think the late, I've forgotten his name, it's at the tip of my tongue, said, whether you speak up, you die. If you speak up, you die. If you keep quiet, you die. So if you do nothing, you will die from the corruption. If you speak up, they might kill you, but then again, you might triumph and see the end of this. So we will stand by you. We're not about to give up. We will, I think, like Sam said, start behind the scenes, trying to see what professional groups can come together in terms of legal aid, medical help if it's needed, or any other sort of help that we can give. Do not be intimidated. Keep going. This is possible. And no, you are not Kenya. You are Ugandans, and you can work miracles. And do not be in any way be intimidated by a decrepit man who's closer to the grave than anything. So thank you so much for joining us. Stay safe. Keep yourself safe. We shall again be back next week. Thank you so much for all those people who joined us and who will join us later. And again, please continue this message. The 23rd of March, a march against corruption to the Houses of Parliament of Uganda. It's your Uganda and your future. Thank you so much. Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.